Fred Matiang'i, there are calls for him to give answers on what happened to Rivayala.
And I think
at the time when you were under the Sufuria movement, we saw it was the then Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, who woke up at 5 a.m., went to office and said, the president is not here, I'm the one who's in charge. So when you talk about justice being offered, it must be seen to be delivered across board. There are no sacred cows.
And it will be. And there's no collective responsibility in crime. A crime is committed by an individual, and that individual must be identified. And where there's evidence, it matters not how long it's going to take. This regime will go out of, and this is what I want to advise those in uniform, that you might be protected today by William Ruto, but the incoming government will not protect you. You shall be taken to court. You shall be held to account individually. That responsibility is not a shared responsibility. And this is going to happen. Some of the reforms we want to put in place, because the families are also saying there must be remedial measures put in place in terms of policies and the reforms to ensure this does not happen. Some of the things we want to say as we take over government, they are very practical changes that we can make to hold that officer personally responsible. If we have body cams for all the officers, so that whatever you are doing once you're in uniform, you are able to monitor your movements. And whatever you do, whether it is taking a bribe, you can be traced. That will kill the issue of corruption in the police force. And it's mandatory because you cannot take it off. It will be an offense. So these are some of the reforms we can put in place. And also the movement of firearms. Using technology, you know that those technologies that can be put on arms, so that there's traceability of arms from the armory to the officer. It's called the RDI, and that arm is traced to the place where it was deployed until that time when it is returned back to the armory. In terms of the ammunition used, so all we need to do is enhance some of these checks and use technology to hold that officer responsible in terms of his movement and the movement of the arms, and the misuse of arms would be something. What are these people telling us? That we could only find enough evidence for 3 cases. If we have 62 killed and you're only prosecuting 3, what does that mean? The rest are off the hook. So it means these officers would still say, okay, the chance of me being prosecuted, even if I do this, is like 1.5%. So, but if we increase that weight of responsibility on an individual officer, you'll see changes in our police, in the manner they handle those firearms, in the manner they handle the citizens, because we had a police force. Under the new constitution, we're supposed to have a police service that must act in the highest form of professionalism and with respect to human rights. That is in the law, the National Police Service Act. It is in our constitution. But these officers do not care about human rights. And the government itself, because it's protecting the same officers, do not care about human rights and the rule of law. So our pledge to Kenyans is that we must return this country back to the path of the rule of law and constitutionalism. And to do that, we must have a president and administration that actually believes in constitutionalism and the rule of law. That is totally lacking. And this is one thing that we want to assure Kenyans, that given that opportunity, with Wamalwa as president, that will be my number one priority, to ensure justice to the victims.
Are you saying that there is lack of political goodwill to